Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the summary of a 2016 TED Talk I've done called How to Gain Control of Your Free Time by Laura Vanderkam. Then, as usual, will be followed by my opinion. And before I begin to talk about my summary, please remember to turn on your notifications and subscribe to my channel. Also, please feel free to check out my other videos as well. Or even the first one that I published if you want to know more about me. So, without further ado, let's start. Time management is not just being punctual or trying to save bits of time here and there, such like those written in numerous magazines that Vanderkam read, which in general provides its audiences with tips on how to shave time off the everyday activities we do, add it up, and we have more time. It's much more than that, especially when we look at how successful people manage their time. Vanderkam argues we don't build the lives we want by saving time, but build the lives we want, and time will save itself. She did an experiment with over 1,100 busy women on their time schedules, and once one of whom had a broken water heater, which took her 7 hours to repair from start to finish. Nonetheless, that is still 7 hours, 7 more hours in a day her water heater was being fixed. But if we asked her beforehand to do something within those 7 hours, she would have said, she's too busy and doesn't have the time to do that. Albeit, from this example, we could see that time is highly elastic, and it is also a choice. While it stretches for things we choose to put into it. And the key to time management is to treat our priorities the same as that broken water heater. One of the busiest person Vanderkam has interviewed says, everything I do, every minute I spend is my choice. And I don't do X, Y, and Z is because it's not a priority. Hence, following the notion according to this person, we could then say that there isn't no time, just a lack of priorities. And we always find time for the things we want to do, even when we actually don't have time. Therefore, to treat our priorities, there are two strategies introduced by Vanderkam. The first one is to write our next year's performance letter and family holiday letters as if it had already occurred, in which we will illustrate 3 to 5 things that we did that we're pleased about in these two areas. Career and family, at the end of our year. Thus, to add it up, in total, we will then have 6 to 10 goals for ourselves next year. The other strategy that you mentioned is to use our low opportunity cost time. In other words, the time when we're low in productivity, to put our priorities consisting of 3 areas: career, relationship, and self, into our next week's schedule. Lastly, Vanderkam says 1 week has 168 hours. Subtracted by the numbers we work and sleep equals approximately 64 hours a week, which is a lot of time. A time that we can use to do what matters the most to us, even if the majority of us choose to spend the time scrolling through our phones. However, small moments have great power, Vanderkam states. Bits of time can create bits of joy. We always have time for what matters the most to us, and when we focus on our priorities, we can build the lives we want, and there will be time. It really shocked me after listening to Vanderkam's talk, especially her saying that it is not that we don't have time. It is not our priorities. I find this surprising, yet extremely accurate and relatable. I couldn't agree more. If you guys listen to this TED Talk using the link provided below, I would guess you all have the same reaction. However, it could be said, to put it simply, she is merely illustrating what is going on in our lives on a day-to-day basis. We always say like, sorry, I don't have the time for that. I'm quite busy. But really, we do have the time if you think about it. Just that we use that time to do things we care more about. For example, the time on the bus, taxi, or metro when we are commuting to work. We could have used that time, even less than 15 minutes, to read one paragraph of a book we've always struggled to find time to read, or at least think about something that is related to our work or studies. Nonetheless, most of us choose to spend that precious time we have to scroll through our social media apps and text messages, while we don't realize that the time we scroll through our phones has taken up a significant amount of our time. Let's say if an average person spends 2 hours on a day on their phones each day, that would add up to around 62 hours each month, which is so much time. I was so shocked when I did this calculation, but it's true. Another point I would like to make regarding what Vanderkam says, when we build the lives we want, time will save itself. I would like to elaborate on this point with my personal opinion. On top of the idea of saving time, I would argue that we should build the lives we want by being resourceful and see things, particularly time, in how much value they actually have. That is, seeing every minute, every second as a period of time when we can do something or try to do as much as we can when we see time or there is suddenly some spare time. Moreover, this, I think, the ability to see time in its true value highly influences a person's success. As we see from those who succeed, I would say almost all of them, I would say, know how to manage their time. When they also know what their priorities are, meaning what things matter more to them and what don't. If we model successful people and the way they approach things, we will be just like them. So plan your priorities and focus on what matters the most to you, and I believe you will succeed. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to hit that like button, turn on your notifications, and subscribe to my channel and comment below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.